We're here today for session number 3. I've got Jennah, who is a new beginning golfer, had never, up until the last few weeks, had never even stepped on a golf course before. But now that she's practiced some putting, she's getting enthused about it, and we are going to turn her into a golfer. Today we're going to go through, review what we've done the last 2 sessions, and we're going to talk specifically today about getting more consistent with your setup and how that's going to translate into a good stroke path and face angle. We're going to start today getting warmed up with the Delta Putt Max. And what we can do, we'll just lay this out on the green right next to a hole, roll that out, and we're going to walk through complete setup, addressing the golf ball and what is happening with your stroke. Is your stroke path coming inside out, outside in, and face angle, which is at impact, you want that face to be perfectly square. Closed for a right-handed golfer would be rotated to the left. Open would be to the right, which is going to cause where the direction of the ball at impact. So come on down, Jennah. We're going to leave the golf balls here for now. We're going to hit a few Delta Pucks, which is a device that goes along with the Delta Putt Max package. And it's a triangle device. It's got protrusions that at impact is going to give you instant feedback on whether your stroke path was straight down your line, outside in, inside out, and if that face angle is square or open or closed. So I know, Jennah, you haven't even taken any strokes today, but go ahead. Remember what we've talked about before. Get comfortable with it. Just hit a few strokes there, and I'm going to look at what's going on in your stroke with your setup and everything else. Okay, that was a very good stroke. Stroke path was pretty good, just slightly inside out. The puck has these protrusions. That would be the back of the golf ball. We want that puck to track right down the center line. This was slightly right, which meant her stroke path came slightly inside out. Okay, so this is going to give instant feedback every single stroke you take with it. Just hit a couple more here, and then we're going to go through complete setup. Okay, very good. This green has a slight little slope to the left over here. That was a really good stroke path, great face angle. That lead point tracks straight down the line. That's what we're looking for. Okay. Awesome. You are dialed in, and I'm not kidding you. She's a natural athlete. I mean, just stroke path wise and face angle, she gets very, very close to being perfect almost every putt. So, okay, what we're gonna do now is we want to develop a good setup routine every single putt. You can do it how you want, but what I like to do initially, we've got our guidelines here on the Delta Putt. I want to get that face perfectly square to these lines. Set up with my right hand away from the ball. Just let the putter lay perfectly flat on the ground. Get it square, and then we're going to address the ball. Okay, and then put our left hand on. Practice it on a line here. Okay, so square that face right down that center line. Okay, let it rest on the ground. Perfect, good. Okay, now follow me right here. Then we're going to address the ball. Perfect. Okay, feel comfortable doing that?
Yeah.
Okay, now go ahead and just make a stroke. This is just a 2-footer. Okay. Okay, perfect. You make that every time. Your stroke path was good. You left the face open a little bit, which caused that rotation of the lead point. We're going to talk about from setup through making a complete stroke here. So if you got any questions, just feel to ask. But what we don't want to do is like just get our stance, like wherever close to it, and then try to make adjustments with our body to meet our stance. So first thing is we have to square the club face, the putter face behind the ball. And see how I'm just like stepping completely away? Okay, I want to make sure that putter face is square. Then I'm going to move my stance to adjust to the putter face being square. Perfect. Perfect. Now, as far as grip, I go a left hand low. That's my preference. You like to go a more traditional, which is awesome. That probably the majority of people go traditional grip. So, does that feel really comfortable for you where you're set up right there? You've got the putter. The putter is slightly up towards its toe, which means you could step just a little bit farther away and bend over just a fraction more. Okay, that would be a perfect setup as far as everything being flat on the ground. Does that feel comfortable? Okay, go ahead and make a stroke. Okay, doesn't matter how far we hit it. That's a good stroke. Lead point is tracking down the line. Again, you're slightly just right, but this green does have some slope to it, which that was a very good stroke. We're not worried about distance right now. We're seeing if our stroke path and face angle are down the line and square to at impact. So I want to go through that setup again. I'm not going to say anything. Address that ball, set up to it, get it square, feel comfortable, looks good, make the stroke. Great. Okay. Again, you got a little bit of an open face because that lead point rotated to the right a little bit. That's way exaggerated. This shows up more than it was. It was a fraction open. So, but the stroke path again was pretty good. You would have made that putt from 4 feet every single time with a golf ball. Okay, let's do that again. You cannot become too consistent with a setup. Consistent has to be a set routine every single time you address it, and that's going to improve your results dramatically. Okay, I like that. I like that. Does that feel good?
Yeah.
Any questions? Let's.
I don't think so.
Okay, no questions right now. Okay,
Every time, do you want me to back up and do
Yep.
it again?
For now, every time I want you to step away and develop a routine for every putt. Because what's going to happen on the golf course is you're going to make a putt, then you're going to have to walk up there to where the ball is, and you're going to need to go through that exact same routine. As you develop that, that routine is going to be very quick. You can set up behind the ball. That's mine. It takes me that long. I know I'm in that same position every time. Going to help consistency, and you don't need to take 30 seconds to do that. It's very quick, but it's the same every time. Okay, that stroke path was just perfect right down the line. You were just a fraction open, which again, as the Delta Putt, it's a friction system. This is just giving you feedback. It's basically a diagnostic tool. So you weren't that open. You were just a fraction. As it glided down the mat, it gave you the results. Okay, one more last setup, and then we're going to move on to a couple other things we'll address. Okay, good. Okay, that one got a little bit. I want to look at the video when we do that again, because your stance has varied in width a little bit every single your stance, how wide your stance is.
Okay.
That last one got very, very narrow here. I would like to see it more shoulder width. Okay, that would be a good position. to get into on setup. That's why we're doing this. We're finding out where your best, most comfortable, best strokes are coming from after setup. Go through the setup again. Okay, that feel good? All right, make the stroke. Okay, that one a little inside out, and the toe of your putter closed down, rotated left. The angle was coming from inside out, which pushed the back of the ball. That one you probably would have missed because your stroke path, you kind of came that way. And what's interesting, your mind can pick that up. Your mind knows, I want to go straight down my intended line. And if you deviate from that, your brain will pick that up and try to help you and close that face to bring it back down to that center line. The mind is an amazing thing. So, and that's why, especially during our setup, if you can get into that position where your brain almost is like, no, oh yeah, okay, oh, that's perfect. I can stroke that right down the line. That's why setup is so important. So let's look at one more thing. We're going to look at the grip. Okay, go through your setup routine again. I'll move over to this side so we're not throwing any shadows on your line. Say, okay. Now, see how I like that grip. That's it's a very neutral grip. You've got both thumbs coming down. Feel how they're right on that flat portion of the grip. I really like that. Now, one thing we want to do with that is we haven't talked about leg action, wrist action. Okay, the putting stroke is so different from a full swing. You want no legs to move at all during the path. And when we're swinging a full club, we have a lot of wrist hinge and release through the ball. Your grip needs to stay absolutely solid. We don't want any flippy stuff. Okay, which you're very good at that. And we want to keep the legs still. So I'm not going to adjust that grip at all. You've again, I think you're just a natural athlete. You can, that feels comfortable, and I really like your setup right there. That's good. So let's hit one last putt. Perfect.
Okay.
Perfect. That was right down the intended line. That little bit of rotation on the lead point, a lot of that is coming from the slope right now. As that thing tracks like a ball would break to the right, that puck wants to break to the right a little bit. But that is great for your third time out here. I truly cannot. I'm shocked is not an overstatement how well that you are stroking the putt from a stroke path and face angle standpoint. That's great. Okay, so we've used the Delta Putt Max to get warmed up. Now we're going to go and move to the golf ball, because you can use the Delta Putt Max at home, and like in 10 strokes, you can get your setup and everything dialed back in and take that out to the golf course with you, because you're not going to be able to roll the Delta Putt out every putt, and take 3 practice strokes before it. But if you use that at home, like even 10 putts a day, you just start to ingrain your setup. Everything becomes consistent. And then if you miss a putt, say out on the golf course with the ball, you can literally feel, it's like, oh, wow, I felt myself kind of come up and out of that and open that face up. So great tool to get your stroke in shape and then keep it that way. And then we go out to the golf course. So that's where we're going to be right now. I'll roll up this Delta Putt, get this out of our way, and we're going to take a look at just what's happening with the golf ball. We're going to look at some downhill, side hill strokes, and kind of roll everything, how it all fits together. So now we've removed the Delta Putt, but we're going to hit 3 putts right now. And these are all going to be straight, even though we're going to keep going a little bit uphill. But what I want you to do is just visualize that Delta Putt being here. And you might say, well, there's no line, so how am I going to do that?
Yeah.
Well, what you're going to do is you're going to come behind the ball. We know this is a straight putt, okay? And we're going to pick an intermediate target, like right there. There's a piece of grass. I'm going to put this little piece of something, a pine needle or something. So let's pretend from the ball to the hole, that intermediate target is our center line. So that's how you're going to go through your setup. Square the putter face to your intermediate target and go through your setup routine and then make a putt. We'll see how we do. Okay. That looks pretty good. Just go ahead and make your good smooth putt. Dead center.
Okay.
That is exactly how using the Delta Putt is going to translate onto the course. Okay. She picked an intermediate target, probably about, I don't know, foot 10 inches in front of the ball. She squared her putter face, just like going through that setup, and you drilled that right dead center.
Okay.
That's how using the Delta Putt in your living room will translate to the course, and it will even do it. We'll get into it in the next session, but once we get the putts that are going to break, we're going to do the same philosophy. That was awesome, Jennah. And do you have any comments, questions about using the Delta Putt and how that translates into putting on the green?
Well, my one question was before every putt, do I go behind the ball and look?
Once you're on the golf course, you need to do that. You need to check, is it going to break to the right, left, or straight, and then determine how much. We'll get into that as we move along here with these. But using the Delta Putt already gives you those lines that you're going to have to determine out on the course every single putt, and then set up to that square club face. Excellent question. Excellent question. How do you feel about using the Delta Putt? I mean, did that clear up any answers about how I'm supposed to set up and things like that?
The Delta Putt gave me a lot of clarity when I was setting up to a regular golf ball, of having a guide of where to go. And then when the Delta Putt was gone, envisioning that it was still there helped me to putt into the hole.
Excellent. That's where, when the Delta Putt is not there, you got to determine that intermediate target, trust that, and then just go through that exact same, which you did perfectly. You hit that putt so dead center, it was not, you couldn't have improved it.
Okay.
So all in all, I think this has just been a great session. I appreciate you being out here and putting up with me. Sometimes it might feel a little more complicated than it needs to, but these are all things that as you do get into the game, is going to just really help your putting and improve that. And I loved it.
Okay,
awesome job.
Yeah, thank you.
Appreciate you joining us today, and thanks for watching. Stay tuned to our YouTube channel, and best of all, cheers to great putting.
Bye.